Welcome to The Scoop, where small changes lead to big results. I'm Rachel, a registered dietitian and a mom on a mission to make nutrition simple, practical, and actually doable. Whether it's decoding labels, busting food myths, or sharing easy wellness wins, this is your space to get real answers that fit real life. So let's dive into today's episode and take one more step toward feeling your best. Any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the views of Live It Up or its affiliates or parent company. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Scoop, serving you straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. My name is Rachel. I am a registered dietitian, and I've been a dietitian for almost 20 years now. And today, I have Francesca Scerbo with me, and she is a nutrition coach. She is the owner of Balanced Nutrition, and she is the co-host of a fabulous podcast called Ways to Wellness with Jeff Delaney. Welcome, Francesca.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you.
Cool.
So I feel like a lot of people who get into nutrition have really interesting backstories and also very circuitous routes to get into it. So I'd love to know a little bit about how you got into nutrition. You know, what was your path to get to this point?
So that has been a question I get asked a lot when I do a lot of these talks. But so everybody has a story, right? So I have been on the fitness in the fitness business since for about a little over 25 years now. But I started because I was a 16-year-old anorexic teenager. Full disclosure, I'm very transparent, very honest about it. And I was basically at the end of the road, so to say. I was really sick. I was getting ready to be pulled out of school. And I pretty much had nowhere to go. I was on a one-way trip to nowhere. And it got to the point where I needed to kind of like dial down and say, like, how am I going to get myself back to where I was? And I obviously spoke with my parents, who were very supportive at the time. And I had reached out to them and said that I think it's time that I see somebody to help me understand nutrition and how I can eat healthy and how I cannot look at food as something that's bad. So they basically hired me, a coach just like myself. And I knew that after getting healthy, obviously, I wanted to be able to do the same thing for others.
That's so interesting that you were the impetus for the change, because I feel like that doesn't happen a lot. It's normally an intervention type of style. So what do you feel like made you aware of that need?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. I think the biggest thing that happened for me was the school had called and said, we're going to have to pull her out, because I was actually very scary to a lot of the kids because I was so thin. And my parents had already kind of mentioned that they were going to put me in some type of a counseling program away from home. And that wasn't something I knew I would thrive with. It was not going to work. So that was literally the aha moment that made me realize I got to get myself back into food and doing some fitness and like really getting myself back to where I was. And, you know, that's where we started.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you're also a trainer, right?
I am. So I have been doing personal training. I used to own my own business. And then I came down here. So I've been doing personal training and Pilates and all kinds of things, fitness, for a really long time. And I absolutely love it. It's my first passion. And obviously we know now that we can't have exercise without the nutrition. So once I went and got my bachelor's in exercise physiology, I knew I needed to take the next step. So that was definitely getting my master's in clinical work for nutrition.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
The two marry so well and
Absolutely.
are both so important. So I'm sure that's incredibly helpful for your clients as well.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah.
And for myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's been helpful for myself too. So, you know.
Yes, definitely. So tell me about the typical clients that come to see you. Tell me about what, the common thread is with their goals and what their challenges are. Who do you typically work with?
Yeah. So my style of nutrition coaching is very different. So my whole program is based on finding a nutrition plan that fits your health and your lifestyle, because no two bodies are the same and no two nutrition programs are the same. It's very bio-individual. That's the word I like to use. I see what happens is a lot of people come to me with I want to do keto. I want to do all the tagline types. You know how it works, all the tagline types of diets.
Yes.
And I don't use the word diet. I use the word lifestyle because the only way you can find a plan that's going to truly fit what works for you is to integrate it into your lifestyle. So what I do is I come in and I work with each individual. Think about it like personal training for your nutrition. What are your goals? So people that come to me have a lot of different things that they want to achieve. Obviously, everybody wants to achieve weight loss, but with the weight loss, we deal with gut health. I'm a big gut health girl. Inflammation, autoimmune, you name it. People come in with blood work where they need to change stuff. So instead of me giving them a piece of paper where it's foods that they're not going to eat and it's meals that they don't know how to prepare, I want to understand them first. Go through the pillars of health. Like, are you stressed? Are you sleeping? Are you hydrated? All of those things. And then what we do is we come up with a plan, a baby step plan that fits their lifestyle. And normally all of them are super successful. They learn the tools. I'm giving you the tools for success. They won't always stay with me long term, but we always come back. We do refreshers. But the people that come to me want to really fix this for the long haul.
We work very similarly. It's all about meeting someone where they are, but also everyone is an individual. And I used to hate it when people would come to me and just have me help them do a diet. And that was their request.
Right.
Because you can't just put a Band-Aid over everything that's going on. Absolutely. And a lot of people use food as a Band-Aid. And so instead we need to dig down deep and say, what is really going on with your body? Why are you feeling this way? And then it's almost like trial and error. What is going to work best for your body?
Absolutely.
So let's figure that out.
Absolutely.
So I love that you take that approach because I think it's so important.
Yeah, it really is. And then again, you can't out exercise poor nutrition. And it's literally the 80-20 rule. It's 80% of your food. It's 20% of the fitness. And that's the key to success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of clients who come in who you do both for, that you are a personal trainer and a nutrition coach?
Yes, I do. And honestly, those are the people that see some really remarkable, quicker results because I'm with them more frequently. So we can have, when you're doing personal training, most of my clients will train with me about 3 times a week for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I get to kind of check in with them more regularly, where my nutrition clients check with me about once or twice a week. These people are kind of a little bit more hands-on, and I can tailor their nutrition with their fitness. Basically how many macros they're going to need, what their, again, which is their proteins, their fats, and their carbs. And then we can adjust all of that accordingly. And based on maybe like if there's a day that we work out a little harder after the workout, I'll make sure you go get like that protein shake we talked about, or make sure that you fuel up for your proteins later on during the day, or make sure you're hydrated if we're in a really sweaty like workout. So yeah, I think that a lot of my clients that do both with me have great success. And obviously it makes it easier because I don't have to necessarily talk to a trainer or tell them what they should be doing, because I like to stay out of that. I let each individual play their role, but it's definitely helpful to have the ability to do both for sure.
Nice. Going back to, when people come in with specific thoughts about how they think they should be eating.
Right.
What do you see right now as some of those bigger trends? And do you feel like when people come in with a certain vision that it's harder to change their mind with what you know to be true in terms of like making sure it's individual?
So what I see most people coming in with is, look, my concept is really, I want people to stop necessarily watching the people on Instagram and Facebook talk, like put the food on the plate and say, eat this. And they have no idea why they're putting the food. They're just like, let me just videotape this. Because I do get people say, oh, I saw on Instagram that I need to be taking in like a lot of protein. So I think it's maybe best if I be a carnivore. And I'm like, but you don't eat half of the stuff that's on a carnivore diet. Well, we could try. So, and then when people, the taglines of gut health, like I should probably be drinking more of this kombucha, or it's so different, to be honest. It's every person that comes in has something very different that they see that they feel they should be implementing. So a lot of people think that they should be like intermittent fasting because they're like, I heard intermittent fasting helps with weight loss. Well, if not everybody can intermittent fast, number one. Number two, how are you breaking your intermittent fast? So again, it goes back to that bio-individual concept. I see so many different things that I could probably sit here and talk for another hour about what they would all be. And you'd be like, yep, I have the same exact thing. But it's always something that they read through social media that they feel that they should be trying, that you're trying to go like, no, that's not how that works. Because based on the science behind it, that's just someone just putting out their theory.
Yes. And, it might work for some people, their theory, but because we are all individual bodies, it's not going to work for everyone.
No, it's not.
Also, there's some stuff out there that probably shouldn't be disseminated. There is some stuff out there that really is not appropriate to be said with such authority.
Oh, you're right. And it's scary.
It is.
It is scary. I mean, I see that with people purchasing supplements off of an ad that they saw. And I was like, well, what's in it? I don't know, but it said it will, it'll burn fat, or it's going to help me with I was like, what? So yeah, you can't believe everything that you watch. That's why I think it's better to hire people like yourself or me and get the facts. Get yourself on something that's going to act. Some of that stuff can make you not as healthy as you think you're going to be.
Right.
They can have adverse effects. So you really need to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you feel like are some of the biggest nutritional myths going around right now?
Oh gosh, some of the myths. I mean, there's so many different types, but I think some of the myths would be, oh my gosh, the big one is eggs. Now we know that eggs are not bad for us, but I think that's still they're still on the fence with that because I still have clients that will not eat them.
Well, it's like the whole fat was bad thing from the 80s.
Exactly.
There's still a ton of
avocados. They think that that's going to forget about that. Let's see, what else some of the fads. I don't know. Most of them I think would be that they can't have it's really like what I can't have. Carbs are bad. Not all carbs are bad, right? Not all proteins are bad. Not all vegetables are bad. So I think that what we're doing is we're trying to read what's good, but try to put a spin on why it's not right from what we've read. I go back to the eggs because I swear, I remember that Time magazine article that had that egg on the cover of it. And they were you're this is the worst thing on the planet you can eat. And getting people out of that mindset is still really challenging. And getting people, again, out of the mindset that carbs are bad. They're not great, but what sources are we using?
Right, exactly. And in the same vein, 60% of Americans' diets come from processed foods.
Oh God, yeah.
So, and processed foods are kind of part of life. Some of them are fine. They're minimally processed, like chopped veggies that you buy. Those are processed because they've been cut, But, when we think of processed foods, we think a lot about chips and that kind of stuff. So how do you help your clients navigate a balance between whole foods and processed foods?
Labels, ingredient labels. It is astonishing to me how people cannot read a label. And it's normal. I don't find flaw in any of it because truthfully, again, we talked about this before we started, is the lack of education, right? So I remember back in the day when I was taking health science in middle school and high school, we did not learn how to read a label. You had a food pyramid that is totally antiquated, where it was eat a lot of carbs, eat moderate amounts of vegetables and fruits. And now that's changed for sure. So I think and when I talk to people about when they buy stuff, they show me and they'll say, oh, it says all natural. Mm-hmm. It says, made from, unprocessed. Let's turn around and look at the label. I'm like, if you can't read the first 5 ingredients, that is an ultra processed food. And that's going to actually cause internal inflammation, and it could cause other things that's going on in your digestive system. Your body won't process it the same way. But if you pick up the apple or you pick up a bushel of asparagus, that's all that's there, right? Even frozen vegetables. If you buy frozen asparagus spears and you turn around, it's just going to say asparagus, berries, same thing. So I want to I think the biggest part of understanding that is understanding the label. And if it's in a box, it has to stay. How long is it in the box? Right? So it's got to be processed in order to stay there. So it's really one of those things where if you could read the label and the first 5 ingredients are just something you have no idea, or if there's more, forget it. If there's more than 5 ingredients, don't even put it in your body. So when they start reading it, they're like, I didn't know. I don't even know what that is, because they read the front of the box.
Yeah.
Nobody even reads the side of the box. Like, how many calories are in this? What's the saturated fat?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the food industry is very good at making something look really good from the front with like certifications and all the little, emblems on the package that many of them aren't regulated. Many of those emblems aren't regulated.
That goes back to that the whole certified organic stuff, like what's really considered organic.
Yeah.
And people think because it's organic, it's healthier for you. So we can eat more. We tend to be, or what I see a lot is when people read these ingredients, they're like, oh, it's better for me, so I can eat more. So they volume eat something that's really not supposed to be volume eaten.
Right.
So you see that too.
Yeah. Like vegan Oreos, they must be better for me.
Oh
I
my
can
God.
eat those, right?
Vegan Oreos. Yes. It's just as good as the Cheerios that'll lower your cholesterol. And there's like 12 boxes of Cheerios in an aisle now. It's like, what happened?
Do you feel like the food industry is getting better and working toward, because they're hearing people talk about how they want healthier products? Do you feel like they're moving in the right direction or no?
I do. And I think I see it in certain stores. I remember when I would go into certain grocery stores or even some of the local smaller stores, you weren't seeing some of the things that I'm seeing now. You're seeing a lot more healthier options for, different types of rices, more, different types of even cereals. I'm going to use those things because we're seeing a change where the ingredients are less. We're seeing different types of salads that are being put into containers. We're seeing different types of vegetables that are now being offered frozen where maybe they weren't before. Different types of dairy products. Now we're seeing the plant-based stuff where we really weren't seeing that before, because where there's a lot of people with dairy issues and gluten and stuff like that. So I think we have a ways to go, ways to go. I think that, what's going on right now with our newer administration taking out the dyes and thinking about all the seed oils that we're using, I think those are phenomenal steps and great tools that are going to make more people aware. Because if we're aware, then we're more likely to purchase these things or at least maybe advocate for them.
Do you feel like someone saying, oh, these food dyes are going to be out, that means I can have these chips more? Do you feel like that's going to happen?
I don't think so.
Because taking out the food dyes is not going to make the chips better.
I don't think so. My audience is now fearful and very much questioning, why did this happen? And, we're in the industry a long time. We kind of know why it happened. But, look.
They're there to make money. The food industry is there to, they don't care about how it affects people.
Absolutely. And look, now it's affecting our children, right? So, I don't have children, but I have nieces. And I have clients that have children and grandchildren, and they're all telling me how, they all have certain types of things that they never had before, food allergies, autoimmune. I work with kids that have like obesity issues. Some of them don't even eat a vegetable, so they're a little malnourished. So working with these kids is so invigorating to me to teach them, but it breaks my heart saying how is it that we got this far?
When you work with kids, do you make sure to work with the parents? Because the kid doesn't really make the decisions.
Oh, yeah, no. We work, it's literally a team of 3 or a team of 2. If it's a mom and the kid or a mom and dad, I'm working with a family right now. They're amazing. And they are all in. They are all in. And I received a beautiful message just the other day where she was not eating any vegetables, but she loved this vegetable soup that was in one of the books I had made. And the family was just elated. They're like, we can make this all the time. So we'll play with that on other recipes. But always, you got to work with the parents because they're the ones purchasing the food.
Yes, they are.
So that's the problem. So we have to educate our parents to be able to give our kids better food options for sure.
Absolutely. And the parents, I like the division of responsibility when it comes to feeding children that Ellen Satter put out. And it's that parents provide and children decide. So the parents have the responsibility to buy the healthy foods and to be providing those foods at specific times. And it's the child's decision whether they're going to eat it or not.
Absolutely.
And which ones. And that allows us to have the children be offered these foods. And they may not eat it, but seeing it as part of them beginning to accept it. And then, still being intuitive with their body. so not finishing their plate because maybe they're not all the way hungry. Maybe they're not finishing their plate because they don't like it, but that doesn't mean they get a snack after either.
Absolutely.
So it's so, I think it's hard for parents because we grew up in a very different type of household. And our food issues relate directly into our children. And
Well, that's great. Lead by example is how I like to put it too.
Yes.
To kind of dial back on what you're saying too is, look, kids are very alert. They know what's going on. So I know for myself, when I was younger, like we always sat down as a family. So we ate whatever my parents ate. And if we didn't like it, unfortunately, that was it. There was no snacks to what you just said. You didn't get rewarded. I think now, we've such a chaotic world, like who's in soccer, so we're just rushing and rushing. And it's what's easy. And what's easy becomes then what's challenging for the health of the child later on. So, I mean, I've worked with a kid who was in high school that was still dealing with stuff from what she was in elementary. So, and her parents are like, I don't know why. And when you break it down, that's why. So yeah, I think that it has to start, in the house. I think cooking together is great. I think that like being a part of what the child is eating is good. Eat together. Cook together, eat together, make choices together. I think that's all like a big part of it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, okay. So when you work with clients, and let's just like give a scenario because this happens a lot.
Yeah.
And they say, Francesca, I got home today and I couldn't stop eating dinner. And then you dig a little and like maybe they didn't eat breakfast, What do you feel like is one of the biggest motivators for someone to start making a change that is that big in their diet? Because a lot of people say, I don't want to eat breakfast because I'm not hungry, because they've trained their body to not be hungry. For you, when you're getting a client to make change, how do you help them take that step?
You've got to baby step it. You have to, and you've got to start with small incremental. I have clients, like you just said, they're like, I can't eat breakfast. It makes me nauseous. I can't do it because, and then they'll experience maybe like an episode because now they're exercising. So they're like, I got super lightheaded when I was working out. That's never happened to me before. I'm like, well, did you eat breakfast? They're like, no. Or it'll be like, did you eat breakfast? Yes. What was it? A banana. Okay. So you just like filled yourself with sugar. So you like went up and then you went right back down. So that's not a way to do it either. So we baby step it. I'll usually say to them, we have to have something. So what is that one thing that you would feel comfortable eating in the morning that we can just get you started, where we can train the brain, train the body. So that's usually where they'll start. And sometimes they'll say, oh, it's going to be a yogurt with fruit, or it'll be a piece of toast with some nut butter or avocado toast, something. I'm like, great. Because I want the client to direct me with what makes them more successful, not for me to force feed you, no pun intended. But it's like, I'm not the one that's going to sit there and tell them you've got to eat 6 eggs, but half of those 6 is going to be whites. And they're like, whoa, like you see this food in front of me? Even though maybe we know as experts that when that's in their body, that protein source, and if you pair it with a healthy fat, as they progress through, they're going to start to lose weight. They're going to start to feel better. They're going to reduce inflammation, but they're not there yet. So I always say most of the clients want the plan, but I want them to give me what they want as the plan. And then I will come in and kind of give them some ideas. And once they kind of look at you and they say, hey, I can do that. That's your plan. That's step one.
Yeah. Baby steps are so important. I like to call them micro habits, using your micro habits to kind of move you forward and build on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel like are a few foods that most people aren't eating enough of?
Greens, period.
For sure.
I have never seen so many people put every food group but a vegetable on their dish. It's mind blowing to me. I mean, as a kid, yeah, I didn't love vegetables, and I didn't, now it's like, forget it. Like 80% of my dish is vegetable based. But when I talk to people about vegetables, they're like, yeah, no, I don't eat vegetables. I'm like, not even a salad? Like not even a dark green salad? No. So getting that is the biggest thing that I see is really the vegetables. Nobody's taking in enough fiber. And that's a whole nother gut health conversation, but no one's taking in enough fiber. And once you start to put that into the plan, it's crazy what the results that people get. But that is the one, is definitely vegetables, primarily greens.
Yeah. And it's so funny how you were like, yeah, kids don't eat it, but really, I feel like what you were alluding to is you're an adult now.
Exactly.
Eat your vegetables.
Exactly.
I want to say that all the time.
Exactly. Exactly right. Exactly right. And I'll ask them, like, what do you like? What do you not like? And, it's like, they don't, well, a lot of people don't like any of it. It's amazing to me. Like, nobody thinks about pairing a vegetable with their food. We grew up like that. So maybe that's what I know.
I did too.
Yeah.
It sounds like we have a very similar, upbringing.
Yes.
Probably plays a big role in why we love nutrition so much.
I probably 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole vegetable thing, I agree with you on that. And what I think the statistic is, only 10% of Americans actually get enough vegetables or the recommended amount.
Of course.
Yeah. And going back to the gut health thing, I mean, there's that research that's coming out showing that you should try to aim for 30 different plants a week to help with the diversity in your gut. Because the antioxidants play a role, the fiber plays a role. Really amazing that we have so much less diversity in our gut and more of the bad bacteria. We have dysbiosis when we eat more ultra-processed foods.
Absolutely. And again, vegetables are filled with so many nutrients.
It's nature's multivitamin.
100%. And it's funny because people say to me all the time, like, can I just take a supplement? You cannot out-supplement poor nutrition. I cannot emphasize that enough. I am a supplement taker. I am not, look, I'm not the queen of, I don't do it, I'm so pure. No, I do take supplements. I take certain things for immunity because I work with people all day, and gut.
And because you pay attention to your diet where your gaps are.
Correct.
So you know what to add in. That's why people come to you.
Absolutely.
But they're with all of them. You don't know what's interacting and negating something else. And
no, absolutely not. And the beauty with the vegetables is the more vegetables you eat, the fuller you will become.
Volumetrics.
I love the volumetrics plan. I think that's the way to do certain things, especially now with women in hormone health. I think it's so important to get this fiber in right now, to be able to feel more satiated. And then the other part of it is there's so many water soluble vegetables as well. And most people are in a dehydrated state. So you're getting like a 2-for-1 plan. I say you're getting nutrients and water. So here you go.
I hate it when someone comes to me and they're like, oh, I don't eat watermelon or cucumber because they have no nutritive value. And I'm like,
too much, or they're too much sugar.
They're too much sugar. And I'm like, they're hydrating. They have packed with antioxidants. Even
Absolutely.
white vegetables have antioxidants.
Yes.
Yes.
I know.
Thank you. That makes me feel so good to talk to you.
So see, we're not wrong.
We're not wrong.
No.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do a rapid fire. It's a speed round. I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh boy, here we go.
Pizza or pasta?
Oh, pizza.
Favorite dessert?
Oatmeal raisin cookie. I know it's weird, but I love them.
That's great. What's your go-to superfood and why?
Ooh, go-to superfood. Okay. So my go-to superfood would probably be the mushroom. And one of the reasons for the mushroom, I'm obsessed with adaptogens. I drink mushroom coffee.
Yeah.
I love Rise. It is, I just literally bought 5 bags because there was a sale today. And I was like, I load up on the Rise mushroom coffee and the Rise matcha. I love the matcha in the afternoon for an antioxidant boost. Also, I'm not a huge bar girl, but the IQ bar is low sugar, high they have adaptogens in it. So it's got lion's mane mushroom in it too.
Yeah.
But I love my mushrooms. That's definitely would be my superfood.
Nice. Okay. 2 supplements you take every day, other than the ones we just talked about.
Vitamin C and zinc.
Okay. 1 food you wish you liked, but you don't.
One food I wish I liked, but I don't. Ooh, that's a good one because there's not a lot of stuff I don't really like. I mean, there's certain foods I personally don't eat, but it's not because I don't like them. It's just I personally choose to keep them out. That's a good one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'd say clams. I'm not a huge clam girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had to answer that, it'd be oysters.
Yeah, something that just takes too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably that.
Okay. And the last one is, if you could create a new food or nutrition trend, what would it be?
Ooh. I wish I could combine all the things that I know have just been like so beneficial for me, you know, like mushrooms and avocados and greens, and somehow like come up with like this like basic big like antioxidant powerhouse like salad that had everything you needed in one bowl. Like something basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. This has been so much fun. I am so glad that you came to visit.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Absolutely. Francesca, do you want to say anything? Do you want to like tell people where to find you?
Sure. So I do have a website. So my website is francescascerbo.com. I also published 2 cookbooks. One is Balanced Nutrition, a cooking guide to better health, which focuses on your gut, inflammation, autoimmune. Some of the stuff is gluten-free, dairy-free. Some of it's plant-based. And then I also have another cookbook called Fit Cuisine, Healthy Food Made Simple. And stay tuned for book number 3, which will be released maybe in the next few months. Working on it now. Thank you. So yeah, that's how you can find me. And social media, it's my first and last name. So you can always find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So yeah.
Fabulous. Well, thank you again and best of luck as you move forward.
Thank you so much. You as well.